Here with Washington State women's basketball head coach Kamie Ethridge. Coach, your team continues its season opening week this week. You hit the road for the first time this Friday to take on San Francisco, and then you return to Beasley Coliseum on Sunday to play Prairie View A&M for the first of the Pac-12 SWAC Legacy Series games that you will be playing, as you'll be making a return trip next year to Prairie View A&M as a part of that series. So how's your team preparing for the two-game weekend? First kind of a test of what a conference slate is going to look like, a conference weekend is going to look like. So how are you all preparing for both San Francisco and Prairie View?
I think that's a great question, Chris. I'm not exactly sure. I feel like we're still kind of recovering from our opening day. I think our team was so prepared and so ready to play and such on a high that it's been a little bit of a getting them back to that point. We don't need to be at super high today. We gave them yesterday off, and now we have to and then we practiced this morning, and we've got to really zero in and be sharp as we lead into San Francisco. And I think our mindset is, it's a real challenge to do this thing on the road. How are we going to travel? How are our older players going to lead us and direct us and make sure that the younger ones are doing what they should to prepare well for our game. And like you said, then a quick turnaround. We come off the road, and then we only have a day to prepare for Prairie View and play at home on that next day. So on Sunday. So it's a unique challenge for us. But everything's a new challenge, and it's a new year. So I don't know that we know exactly. And this doesn't feel exactly like it will in conference because of the travel. But, it's time for us to understand how to get ourselves ready to play every game out. And that starts with getting ready for a very tough road game at San Francisco. And then from there, we'll show our maturity and how we respond and play in that, back-to-back game after being in San Francisco.
We're going to open the floor for questions. Please raise your hand if you have a question for Coach Ethridge. We'll go ahead and start with Jamie Vinnick from CougFan.com. Go ahead, Jamie.
Morning, Coach.
Hi.
You don't get a lot of the Friday, Sunday games in non-conference play just because of how kind of the schedule works out. But, does it kind of feel like you can use this as a preview for Pac-12 play and how kind of your weekly routine will be once the conference slate starts?
I think it will be. But again, I think it's a little bit unique in one road game and then one at home game for us. I just feel like it's a new team, and yes, we should be able to draw on our experience. Our older players have been through this, but I just feel like we are in such a non-conference mindset right now, and this happens just like when when you go to tournaments, you play back to back, and you never do that. But non-conference is just a different little animal, and you have to, you don't have as much time to prep. It's a little bit different in how you approach it and play on it. But again, we have an experienced group coming back, and nothing should surprise them too much. So, that's a nice thing to be getting on a plane with a group of, basically 5 starters back in your program. That's a nice weapon to have. So we'll call on that. We'll need them to be good. I think the thing that I love about this team is they really kind of bought into a real holistic approach. We're, as far as eating a little bit better, getting some recovery things in them and doing some things on recovery in the weight room, in hopes that, our bodies feel good, from night to night. Yes. But obviously in the long-term effect of after 3 months of this, can we still be playing really good basketball, and can we be sharp in our bodies and feel good?
You talk about kind of making sure you feel good and staying sharp. You've got the 3-game week. How do you find the balance between obviously making sure you win the games and keeping your best players on the floor, but also making sure they stay fresh and knowing it's a long season and you won't have a whole lot of 3-game weeks?
Yeah. I'm grateful that just how our team responded in the first game and didn't overextend too many people's minutes. I think that would be an amazing thing if we could, carry that through more games than we have in the past. That's certainly on our minds, especially, Charlize and Ula and, some players that have really logged a bunch of minutes over the course of their careers, and again, looking forward and hoping that we're playing our best basketball, in February and March. So that's the idea. The idea is that we grow our depth and these younger players can eat up some minutes and succeed in the minutes that they play and give our upper class a little bit more rest and recovery. But every game is new, and I know we have to just adjust. And if it requires people playing 40 minutes, I think we have the athletes that can. But clearly, long-term effect and long-term growth and success of this team is going to mean our freshmen need to put in some minutes. Our younger players need to play some minutes, and that's going to help our little bit more experienced players be off their feet a little bit more and hopefully be playing better basketball late in the season.
Talk about that a little bit. I know in the past couple of years, when it's gotten down to the stretch, it felt like it was essentially 5-6 players. It feels like that might be a little bit deeper this year. And especially now, how much does that take the load off of Charlize and Ula and Yo, when you can go to Kira and go to Lauren and you can have this deeper bench and really go 9-10 deep, at least early in the season?
Right. Yeah, it's a wait and see if this thing, how long this lasts. But I do feel really good about the freshmen in particular. AT clearly is a player that's going to get a lot of minutes. Kira is I think coming along, and again, both Kira and Lauren bring a skill that no one else on our team has. So if we can get them consistent and confident and good at knowing scouts and not making too many mistakes on the defensive end, I think they'll help us as well. Like, it's huge for us. I mean, everybody shortens their bench late in the season, but we haven't always been able to play a lot of people in non-conference. I mean, everything matters now. I mean, Jamie, we could go on and on about net. I mean, if I want my bench to go into the game late and they take a 30-point win down to a 15-point win, I mean, that literally affects our net ranking. We saw that last year. So many close games and our net was a little worse than other people. So, you have to play if your idea is to make postseason play, you have to pass eye tests. And that means, we have to be a little bit savage in how we compete and have great expectations. And we've got to finish games really well. I want that to be 9, 10, 11 deep, but people have to go on the court and really play at a high level on the court for us to get that kind of production.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Jamie.
Hey, Coach, this is Angela Taylor with the Pac-12 Networks. How are you doing?
Hey, good.
Good. We're looking forward to Sunday's game. So just a couple questions. First, you mentioned the non-conference mindset. What is your strategy for non-conference play in order to get you ready for Pac-12 play, postseason play, coming off of 2 consecutive tournament runs?
Yeah, I mean, first off, nothing is easy about scheduling. I think everybody complains about that. And we struggled a little bit finishing this year's schedule out. Had some games we lost late. And so, but I know everybody has different philosophies, try to get all wins and be super, super confident, but maybe not as prepared, or, go out and play the hardest schedule you can possibly play and not win them. And then is your team not confident, or are they, teetering on confidence? I think we need a mix of that. I want to play, teams that compete for championships in other leagues, people that play different styles. I think that's really important. Not everybody in the pack, has the height of Oregon State. You got Arizona, who plays super pressure defense all over the floor, and you can't hardly run a play. So, there's people that play unbelievable systems. And so when we get to play a South Dakota State who has an unbelievable system, I mean, that'll test us and prepare us well. So we really like the challenge of playing, the handful of teams that are top 25, teams that are, some of the best in their conference that are going to be competing for their conference championships, because those teams know how to win, and those teams prepare really, really well. And it's gonna, and that's gonna help us be prepared for what we may have to guard in the Pac-12. So it's a mix, but you have to manage it. You have the times that you play people are key, and do you have enough scout times? And this year we play, UW early, and so you don't want to schedule too many games before that and not have good preparation for a conference game that's going to be played in December. I mean, there's a lot of strategy involved with setting yourself up for success or failure. And we want to be a little bit strategic in what we do, and hopefully, build some confidence in our players so that they're ready to go when conference season rolls around.
And that's great. When you talk about building that confidence in your players, and winning is a mindset. So what have you seen from your players? You have a nice balance of veterans and young players on your roster. Like, what have you seen from that winning mindset and how that's evolving?
Well, you never know until you step on the court and play. And I really was very pleased with just our energy and how locked in we were, to the scout as much as we could. I loved that players seemed just new and improved. I think I've been talking about it, I've been seeing it, but doing it on the court when the lights are on, getting all our weapons back on the court at the same time with Ula and Yo, and obviously Charlize getting back to us. I mean, those are three unbelievable players that you put them in a lineup and all of a sudden the game is easier. And it's easier for the younger players too, to play with that kind of strength and that kind of IQ and that kind of playmaking ability. So we have a mix of both in our gym. And I think the biggest thing that I'm pleased with, and I hope and pray that it carries on, is just, it keeps calling us more weapons. We can't just be depend on Charlize to score 20 every night. We need 4 and 5 people in double figures. We need to spread it around. We need multiple people stretching the defense with threes. I mean, if we get that, I just I feel like we're going to be hard to. Well, we'll be in every game. We'll have a chance in every game. But again, it's funny how that is. We got to prove it. We did it one game, and now we've got to come back off that really, really big high and see if we can regroup and be prepared for San Francisco in a road test.
Okay, great. Well, a couple more questions. We just got off a webinar with the Pac-12 and the SWAC for the new Pac-12 SWAC Legacy Series. Really excited about it. Brian Stevenson had some really powerful words that he shared about the importance of this initiative. What are your thoughts on the Pac-12 SWAC Legacy Series?
Super excited about it. It's come up on us fast. That was another game that was really difficult for us to schedule. We were going to go to them first, and all of a sudden we didn't think it was going to happen, and then it happened. And just thrilled to be hosting Prairie View. Excited to go back to them next year. We want to teach our players, what historically Black institution history of that in our country. We want it to be an educational experience for coaches and for our players and people in our program. We've got some really great things planned and have obviously found experts and people within our university that can teach about our history and what it's been like to be here at Washington State. So we have a great mix of the academic people that are helping us out, we wanted to do some things with we invited Prairie View to come to the football game and just get introduced. Their schedule just didn't let that happen. But we do have a lot of things going on, pregame, halftime, and then we have like a potluck thing going on after the game where the teams will be able to interact and get to know each other a little bit. So this is the first step in it. I'm excited. I think it's a great matchup for us. I think it's a great situation. And again, everything we should be doing at this university should be educating our players and taking us out of our comfort and teaching us about things that we've not experienced, or certainly things that we don't know. And so I'm excited that our players get to experience it.
That's great. Excited about that as well. And then thoughts, I know you have a game in between, but thoughts on Prairie View and their team. Have you had a chance to take a close look at their team?
I have not. You know, I have not. This is a really crazy time here. I'm spending a lot of time on San Francisco personally. And I want my team to be thinking that. So I have someone else scouting Prairie View, and I'll get that edit on our trip tomorrow when we start taking off, so I can take a look at them. But right now it's so difficult, you know. You don't really have any game film from anybody. You might have one game only, and you just got it in the last day or two. And so everybody's scrambling right now. Who's ever scouted is in scramble mode to try to throw something together and get it on my desk before we get too far along. But I'm just going to focus one game right now, and that's San Francisco, and we've got a lot to handle from them. And you know, it's not just handling San Francisco. It's how do we travel? What's our mindset? What's our personality? What's our presence going to be traveling, and making sure that we're, you know, approaching this like a really great business trip, and that'll, you know, build some confidence and certainly teach us how to do it in the future as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thanks, Coach. Thanks, Chris, and good luck this weekend. We'll see you on Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Coach, that's all the time we have for today. Best of luck this week, and we'll talk to you after the San Francisco game. Until then, go Cougs.
Thank you. Go Cougs.